Hi, good morning to everyone. I'm not a doctor, not yet, let me say. I'm sorry,
We
but for
wish you the
this,
best, therefore.
thank you. I'm sorry for this last minute change, but our director, Dr. Angelos Amditis, due to a last minute change, he was not able to join, but I'm happy that I'm here and thank you for having me to bring you what our group is doing in this in the sector of natural disasters and risk management. Let me share my screen. And then you can tell me if you can see my presentation. I will also put it on presentation
It's
mode.
okay. It's
okay, perfect. So I will be touching upon the new technologies and the emerging innovation solutions that we are seeing through the research in the general scene of the natural disasters and crisis management towards trying to build more secured and resilient societies. So in order to give you a first introduction of who we are and what we do, I'm here representing the Institute of Communication and Computer Systems. This is the research branch of the National University of Athens under the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering. And it goes long into these numbers. This is the Institute has been participating in numerous research projects, EU-funded projects, more than 1,800. We are a group of more than 800 researchers here, scientists with 41 labs from 6 different research groups and units. We are proud to say that we are one of the top institutes that we're doing research, funded European research. And of course, we are actively also involved in several startups and spin-offs or clusters that are coming out of our innovation activities. My research team, the one that is directed under Angelos Amditis, is almost 20 years of existence. We are also a big group of more than 90 researchers, more than 100 researchers dealing with several research projects, and we are focusing on 4 main thematic areas that has to do with smart transportation and mobility and logistics, smart integrated systems. A lot of work is done in our development group that are building all our new technologies. And of course, the topic that we're going to be touching upon here, that is the crisis management and secure societies. So what I will be talking about is first setting the scene and seeing a little bit what are the trends in this sector. We will be talking about the technologies that we are seeing coming in front and helping in the crisis management. What are some research projects and prototypes that we are also being involved, and concluding with the challenges and recommendations that we face for the future. So, of course, we've been all experiencing the recent health crisis, and this stretched even more the concept of how we need to be more prepared to emergency respond in such crisis. Of course, climate change, urbanization, this is increasing in frequency and intensity. And there is an ongoing growing trend in the more destructive climate disasters that have social and economic implications. So there is a whole set of new technologies that they could be really applied and help us transform and rethink the way that we can manage the people and the assets in order to implement the safety and have a better management and response. So why we want, of course, the natural disasters, either this comes from the natural causes or from man-made causes, they are inevitable. And what we need to do is just prepare and organize societies so that we can create, build the resilience. And this, we have to focus on a cross-border and international level, because these disasters and these incidents, they are addressing the global world. And so international cooperation is really needed. So increasing the connectivity, things that could be affected from an emergency are connected. So this means that the buildings, the public places are being connected and capable of creating little sensors within an incident. These incidents also create vast amounts of information, and real-time information becomes available. And in this way, communication technologies could support in very different ways. Also, this is a need that it comes and it's being seen also from funding programs like Horizon Europe or private companies. They're more and more investing in building secure societies. And there is also an approach in a risk-based planning that becomes more and more important in order to be able to anticipate and act early on identified risks. And of course, the society, that the citizens' science that is built upon the roles that comes from a bottom-up approach. So governments, both citizens, are creating information, and they can share this information. So we are talking a lot about crowdsourcing and how can this be integrated with responders and leading to more rapid and precise responses. So natural disasters, they could include several types of severe weather, storms, floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, and this could have the potential to pose a significant threat to the human health and safety, as well as the critical infrastructure and security. And we see that this is becoming greater in frequency and in density, as well as in the effects that they're having, and not only in the costs of lives, but also in the economic effects. And the natural disasters are the result of a hazard that is overwhelming a vulnerable community, and it could often result in mortality. And it is that over the past decades, there were more than 300 natural disasters that occurred, affecting millions and costing billions of euros. And this is a disaster cycle that is used to base a coordinated plan in order to be able to respond, recover, prevent, but also prepare for such a disaster. And in the crisis management, there is a wide spectrum of technologies that could be utilized in the cycle of the management. So in order to be prepared, to mitigate the crisis, respond, and recover. So we have the phase that we call pre-crisis phase, where it is the preparedness level before the crisis, and all the risk assessment and the analysis of the warning signs is being held. Then we are entering in the phase of the crisis and the acute phase where we respond to the actual crisis. That involves activation of the action plan and mobilizing the different actors to face the crisis and limit the damage. Then it comes the chronic phase of the response. You have to mitigate the consequences of the crisis, and the resolution phase, where there is the recovery that takes place and that this could last for months or years after a crisis, and as well as the better planning for the future. And moving towards the technologies that we could see supportive towards building a better framework in addressing the natural disasters and building a better crisis management. It is actually a set of different new emerging technologies that we have in our hands to utilize. Of course, Internet of Things and all these cloud-based web tools like smartphone applications or live information sharing in real time, and digital tools that they are cloud-driven, targeting emergency management. These are all tools that they could work and help us control a little bit better the information that we're receiving. Blockchain is another type of technology that it could be used for enabling fraud prevention in terms of disaster in the financial ecosystem. And the data that are encoded based on this technology, they are highly reliable. They could allow for emergency services to automate decision-making in high-pressure disaster situations or provide relief to strained rescuers. Another set of hardware that we could see is the drones. Drones, they could be used for aerial surveys, for creating location or infrastructure risk profiling. They could serve to inspect remote sites or supplement humans in rescue missions. They can either be used in order to deliver necessities such as food or medical supplies to where it is needed. Then we can see several other technologies like robotics. Robotics are interesting as they can be deployed for repairs, rescue, and rehabilitation during emergencies. They can use autonomous systems so that they can remove humans from high-risk jobs, and also automated underwater and underground infrastructure maintenance or monitoring and reconstruction could be also held using these technologies, especially for the critical infrastructures. Augmented reality or virtual reality can provide tools in order to simulate disaster, create models, and do some performance measurement in order to analyze how much of effectiveness there is to the action plans or to the response teams. So it could be really good tools for creating the virtual environments for training or depicting real emergency situations, and improve situational awareness in emergency control rooms. Also, we saw that cloud, of course, all these tools are enabled via cloud applications, and this is driving the information sharing that can be happen real time and live with different applications, engaging both public and the management teams. And artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence could be used for early warning systems on the risk modeling and forecasting. We could be used for machine learning and deep learning. Can optimize the resource allocation or an evacuation planning and action plans. And they could also be helpful into applications that have to do with post-disaster recovery and reconstruction processes, such as survivor identity verification, insurance claims, or financial aid delivery. GIS systems, data that are coming from satellite navigation systems, or they can help quantify the disaster risks and or climate change, providing disaster alerts. And warning systems can be held from satellites or remote sensing data. And of course, communication tools, they can help with like enhanced wireless satellite or 5G connectivity. They can help with information sharing or delivering emergency messages at scale, and help also the growing citizens science. Of course, all this information is based on data and data setting, and these data sets that are being produced in enormous size beyond the ability of normal databases. They could be used to capture, store, manage, and analyze risks. So data analytics and big data technologies are here to help.
Mrs. Anagnostopoulou, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You have 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I would like to speed up a little bit and just highlighting a little bit how social media and Web2 environments and this type of social networking tools could help in providing the citizens the web tools in order to share information, knowledge, and disseminate this information during major disasters. So crowdsourcing and engagement of citizens in crisis situation is something that we're seeing more and more happening, and crowdsourcing data could be used from social media to improve situational awareness during the crisis. These could be tools in order to self-organize, to provide information widely, real time, in order to identify the location, the status of the assets and the people. This could be used for data mining and modeling to increase the awareness in the situation, but also new forms of collaboration. So you can rapidly disseminate, create information sources, and disseminate the information in the end users. So our group is also very much involved in research that has to do with targeting first responder, the critical infrastructure, and in general the security market. I will just go through some research areas that we have been very much involved, and a little bit focus on some prototypes that we are seeing. I will just, due to the sake of time, go a little bit further into the prototypes, because I think this is a good overview of the technologies that we are handling. This is a training application that is based on AR technologies, and this is creating a lifeboat, a hologram of a lifeboat. So this could be easily used in order to interact with the user, being able to create complex scenarios and a step-by-step guidelines in order how to interact with a real lifeboat. Another example is the smart life tracking and the smart wristband. This is using an indoor localization system to provide navigation to support passengers during a ship evacuation. The smart life jacket receives the evacuation route automatically, and this is translated into haptic cues. So there is a series of signals that are triggered by the haptic actuators in order to lead the person to safety, and communicate also with a smart wristband to send all this information to the control center. Another very interesting prototype is a multi-sensor smart building emergency call system that provides real-time raw data measurements from sensors, fire or gas leakage alerts to the control center, and it is carrying a 112 emergency call to a control center, to a response center that can further request for raw sensor data. So in order to conclude, we have seen several types of technologies that are now emerging and can really support the better preparedness in order to create the resilience and more secure societies. But what we see as challenges is that, of course, the data quantity and the quality dilemmas. So questions, especially when we're looking for crowdsourcing, the questions that are coming regarding the data accuracy, the reliability, and the quality. Transparency that is needed, as well as the role of government in that, as we need to see open data spaces and issues that have to do with more standardized services and technical solutions that support interoperable solutions. A coordination of very diverse actors, something that should be guaranteed in order to have trust, collaboration, and shared expectations among all the actors that are involved. Security, of course, of data. This is and cybersecurity is of major importance and needs to be really addressed. Reliance on technology for communications could create new type of emergencies that are linked to technical meltdowns, and especially when connectivity is becoming more and more important, being able to rely on a robust technology it will be of critical importance. And we've seen that innovation is becoming essential to ensure that technologies are being developed and that they can support products in order to create a better environment for the responders and the practitioners for saving lives. That is the ultimate goal. And this is a strategic asset for organizations. So we should see also in the private sector, but also for different stakeholders, that they should develop policies in order to deal with information assets and information access for those reasons. And of course, this is an international matter when we're talking about natural disasters and risk management and crisis management and better responsiveness. This is something that involves a global scale, and it's never a crisis that doesn't have a global spectrum. So with that, I would like to conclude. I think that would be all from my side. Thank you very much. I hope it wasn't too long. I could definitely share the presentation so that whoever is interested could go into more detail in the parts that I've skipped. And I would be happy to get any questions that you may have at the end of the session. Thank you very much.